Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. This is a first for our little channel, and today I will be reviewing all the books that I have read during 2025 as someone who is slowly getting back to her reading journey after not reading since the teenage years. All of these books I had since I was probably like 16, 17 years old, and I just got out of reading so bad that they've been sitting on a bookshelf since then for like over 5 years now. And that is why all of these are big crazy choices. It's because I just picked them back then, and I wanted to read them before. I wanted to give them a chance because obviously I picked them for a reason. But hopefully, as I finally get through all the books that I have had for ages, I can start picking my own and sort of getting into what I like to read, which is nice. So this year I read about one book a month, apart from December where I had a bit of a break, and I'll be rating them basically out of 5, talking about my general thoughts, and also talking about would I reread them and would I ever watch a movie or TV show if it was ever made or has it been made about the books. So let's get started. So in January I read Dear Evan Hansen by Val Emick. I hope I'm saying that right. And this one I would give about 3.5 stars out of 5. It was pretty fun. It definitely felt a lot more like teenage vibes, which completely expect. Like, it is made from a musical about high school, and I have already listened to the whole musical. It's a banger, and I really liked the links in this to the actual songs, and I loved, like, because I've obviously listened to the musical already, I could hear it like playing in my head as they were going through what was happening. It made it feel so much more incorporated and felt really like I was in it. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think you need to have watched or heard the musical to understand it. It perfectly explains it in its own way. I just had that extra like visual aid. I know there is a movie about this as well, and I haven't watched it yet. I will watch it probably sometime, but I don't have any high hopes for it because, again, I think the type of content it is, the story is definitely interesting. Definitely interesting people, interesting characters, but I don't have really high hopes for the movie, and I probably wouldn't reread this again, and I am donating this book to charity because I don't need it on my bookshelf anymore. The second book I read in February was The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out the Window and Disappeared by Jonas Jonasson. This one I would also give 3.5 stars. I think it was such a fun adventure. The writing style was a little bit hard at some points because I know it has been translated from Swedish. I hope it's Swedish. It has been translated from its original language, which obviously makes some of the sentences a little bit like they don't read the way I'm used to reading, like English structure, but that's so fine. And it was really sort of made me think of my own granddad, like having these adventures from his nursing home. Like it was very fun, and like you never knew what was going to happen next, and it definitely kept you entertained. I would definitely consider rereading this one. I probably am not going to keep the book, but if I ever wanted to reread it, I would probably borrow it from the library. And I would love to watch a TV show or movie based on this so bad, because I think it would just be so chaotic, so fun, and I think it could be done really well. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that one. And for the third book of the year in March, I read a Doctor Who book. This is Dead of Winter by James Goss. I do probably rate this about 3 stars. It is during Eleven's era with Amy and Rory. It just wasn't really that memorable for me. Like, when I was compiling the list of books and sort of thinking about them and what I wanted to say, why could I not remember this storyline? Like, at all. I don't know what it was. I did have a flip through and I can sort of remember it. And a lot of the Doctor Who stories always get that eerie, creepy, like Victorian era by the sea vibes. Like, and this definitely fits it very well. I couldn't really tell you much about it though, because again, forgot a lot of it. If it was an actual episode, maybe I'd find it a bit more memorable, because I think the concept is pretty cool. But again, I think the story is just not too heavy that I even remember it. But it was alright, and I probably wouldn't reread it for that purpose. Okay, the fourth book this year was This Is Where It Ends by Marieke Niekamp. I hope I'm saying that right, guys. This 4.5 to 5, let me tell you. Again, this is a very like high school, sort of young adult, definitely writing, but it was so moving, and it made me just imagine like if I was there. Growing up in Australia, this is not something like, it is about gun violence and like school shootings. This is not something we ever have to deal with, but it really puts you in that situation, and I think most everyone should read it because of how it is written so powerfully that it really just makes you feel like you're there, and you're like, my eyes are jumping word to word, because you just want to know like what's happening. You definitely feel the tenseness of the situation, and it is a beautiful, moving story. I really, really recommend it. If there was a movie, 1000% I would watch it, and I definitely would reread it. Oh my gosh, it is a very sad but very necessary story. The fifth book I read this year was All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr, let's say. This was amazing. Again, 4.5 to 5 stars. It was such a beautiful story, and I really like reading about like that World War II era and like historical sort of narratives, so I really, really enjoyed it. The writing, beautiful. Again, like it was a little bit slow at some points, but I think that is just like the beauty of it. Like it isn't supposed to be a very fast, action-packed thing. Like it is just it's just people going through their lives during this historical event, and it definitely keeps the tension high still, even though it's like a sort of slower one. The tension is still there. It's sitting there the whole time. I would definitely reread this. This is staying on my shelf. I know there is a limited series. I watched it. It did not do this book justice, in my opinion. The shots, there were some really cinematic shots. The actual story was very deviated a lot from this plotline for no reason. Like, I feel like we could have got away with doing this book more justice than what it's worth. So I was a bit disappointed with that. What can you do when it happens to that? But I definitely would be rereading this book. And the sixth book I read this year was age-old classic, The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. This is how I got away with my 11 books with a book this thin. I love this book so much. Literally like 5 stars. This is the 3rd time I have read this book. It is... Why is it perfect? Like, why is this the perfect children's book ever? This was given to me by my nan when I was a kid, and this is definitely being given to my children, my grandchildren even. Like, I am keeping this forever and cherishing it. It is just possibly the best book ever, and even if you are an adult, like, it is still so good. Like, you see so many quotes from it, and it's just very descriptive in the way it talks about, you know, childhood and like losing your imagination and all that. So it is a stunning book, stunning. I would read it again and again and again. I love this book, and I watched the Netflix adaptation, the animated one. Something more beautiful than this book, or as beautiful, that movie. My gosh, and I love they didn't just make it like the story that is in here. I love that they added in the contrast to the girls' world in that really boring, everyone in the same house vibe. And I love that they like pulled on both of them and they made this into a completely new story, which didn't take away from its original one, which was so beautiful, and I loved it, and I would watch that a million times over as well. And the 7th book I read this year was Black Beauty by Anna Sewell. And as you can see from this lovely sticker here, I have had this since I was a young child as well. And I had tried to read it about 2 other times, and I never succeeded that was when I was younger. And finally I succeeded this time and finished it. And I know it is like it's a classic one. I mean, this is a classics edition, but it was not astounding. to me. I think I'd give it mid-range, so about 3 stars out of 5. And I think it was really interesting. I know nothing about horses. I did not grow up around them. I sort of hate animals in a way that I'm scared of them, not that I hate them. I would probably, when I was younger, ask my parents for a horse, but that is something that I would have probably hated. Like, that is a different life than what I'm accustomed to. But it was very interesting, like, learning about that sort of world, especially from the horse's perspective. It was interesting. It just, I think it is it's showing its age in the 21st century. Definitely is showing its age. But again, I think there's definitely some emotion in it, especially between these two and just like the friend that Black Beauty makes along the way. There's definitely some emotion. It just was a bit hard to read because of there's so many words that it was telling me, and I was like, I don't know what any of this means, because of obviously the time period it's written in. I wouldn't probably ever reread it, and I probably wouldn't ever watch anything that is based off of it. Again, I don't know if there is. Haven't gone looking for it. I mean, I can see the potential if we focus on the story of the horses. I can see the potential. Like, I'm thinking like a brother bear situation. I think if we got something like that, could be really powerful, but it just didn't wow me away, and I definitely won't be rereading it. Okay, we're getting on to the later half of the year now, and we are on to our 8th book, which is The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes by Arthur Conan Doyle. So this one includes the short stories like The Adventure of the Speckled Band, The Adventure of the Engineer's Thumb, and A Scandal in Bohemia. Obviously, a lot of different tales in this, and I think they all had very similar vibes though. I would give this probably about a 3. I only bought this because I watched the BBC's Sherlock TV with Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman. I loved it. So that's why I bought this when I was younger. And I didn't get around to reading it, and I finally did. And I would say the vocabulary a bit outdated, but it wasn't as hard to follow as Black Beauty was. When it's written, the stories I feel like don't have as much. It's not as fun for me personally. I think watching the TV show, you sort of feel like you're there trying to figure it out with them, because you can see all the things of the case. You can see the details in front of you. Whereas this, it's like they show up and they just sort of hear the details from someone explaining them, and it's not like you're visually seeing them. And you can imagine it, but it's like there's also a million other things you could be missing. And then Sherlock just stands there and explains what's happening. Because he's a genius. Okay, we get it, you're a genius. And I guess it wasn't as fun for me. Like, I sort of liked watching the whole episode, watch it slowly play out, whereas this felt like they got told the issue, they went there, he figured it out. Like, it felt too easy. And I know they're based off of this, but it just felt too easy for me. So I won't be rereading this, but I do love the TV show, and I probably would rewatch that. And the 9th book for the year was Cat's Tales, A Treasury by Stella Whitelaw. This, if you can't tell, might have come from a library. But I think this was a gift from my nan, again, when I was a child. I think this probably was some stock that they were selling. I have read this before. This is probably my 2nd reread, and it is like a treasury, I guess that's the word for it. This is a collection of a bunch of different stories, and some of the stories are stronger than others in terms of emotional aspects, but it is very good. I really like it. Again, the vocabulary a bit older, but it never bothered me, and I think it talks in very plain terms, so you're very, even as a kid, I understood almost every word. And there are some really sad ones, some really happy ones. When I'm thinking of it, I can hardly ever remember their names or some of them what happened. I'll just like think, oh yeah, there's that cat who did this, and it'll just be one of these stories. But they're really fun. I really enjoy rereading this. I wouldn't really, if they did make this into a movie or TV show, I wouldn't really know how that would work, considering again there's many a different story in here. But I love it, and it's in here, you know. And the second last book for the year was Wonder by R.J. Pelagio. This is a book I actually got from a small bookstore in Caloundra on holiday again when I was younger. Have not read it for years, but I finally got there, okay? And I've also seen the movie when it came out, but I didn't watch it then. I watched it after I read the book. This I would give about 3.5 stars. The writing, again, felt very little. It's targeted towards younger adults, which totally fine. I think it's still a pretty good read. The story is really like heartwarming, really nice. I feel like it's just a typical sort of bullying story. Like the underdog comes out on top, sort of bullying vibes. And I did watch the movie. It was pretty good. Again, didn't wow me, didn't blow me away. It's a decent book, and I think for a younger generation it would sort of give them some morals, good morals. And the last book for the year is Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. This one I would give about 3 to 3.5. I think it was good, but like it wasn't that great. I just didn't really feel like it was a really struggle for me to read this one and finish it. I think I just didn't feel a connection to the story. I think I like the romance aspect and I like the story. It's just, it didn't call to me that much. The main character, I did find a little bit relatable, but not enough, in the sense that she wants to stay in her hometown and stay there forever. And it's like, no, I've got dreams. Dreams are for other people. Like, that is my motto, not, oh, I'll just stay with what's comfortable. Like, I understand that mindset. Just like, I just didn't feel a connection. And that is also why I'm not reading the sequels, because obviously after the ending, I'm not gonna read a book where I can't really relate to the main character without that romance aspect. And because I feel like this is as good as a standalone book, I just don't see the need for a sequel. I have watched the movie and I found it more emotional than the book. Maybe that is just because it was easier for me to understand and take in. I'm not sure, but I definitely won't be rereading this one, and I won't be going any further with the series, but I don't hate you if you do. Anyway guys, that is all for today. I hope you guys had fun watching me talk about what I've read, and maybe you found a new book to read yourself. I probably won't be doing these that often because I don't read books as often as some people do. I probably read about 1 a month if I'm lucky. But if you have any recommendations of books that I may like, let me know. I am so down for something new. I do have heaps to work through that are still on my shelf, but I'll get there someday, I will. But thank you again guys. Remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more type of content or just more of me. I hope you guys have a good day. See you next time.